I am here. It's hard to believe. It's been a while. It's been a rough, long winter, isn't it? We're in the middle of spring has not arrived yet, but here we are, and I'm glad you're here. I had some things happen in my family, my neighborhood family, in my senior building that made me think again, as I've said before, is there so many things about my grandmother and grandfather and their family that I have no idea what they liked, what their first friends were like, what did they think of school, what did they want to be when they were young. Even though I lived with my grandmother, I don't have that knowledge. A little self centered child, teenager, I never thought to ask. And now I realize how serious that is because people who age often pass on before there's a chance for people to really have those memories and have that knowledge to pass on to grandchildren. Sometimes those things are things that haunt us when we get older. I wish I knew. I don't remember my grandmother telling me what her mother's name was like or how many children. I think I know little bits and pieces, but I don't always feel I know enough. So in talking about someone in the building about this and how important it was, I said, I think I'm going to do my next video on that, just to remind people that while your relatives are alive, think about asking things that may seem insignificant to them, but may be an important memory that you want to have. Sometimes it's seeing, oh, I felt that way too. To be able to share with those in your family that this is how you felt when you were young. I remember the first friend I had, and when I wasn't allowed to play with her anymore, I don't remember her name, but I remember the incident. Now, my grandkids don't know about that or what I liked, and I want them to know. So, this wonderful friend of mine in the building who cares for her mother went and bought my husband and I special books. This is called Grandfather, I Want to Hear Your Story. And the one I have for me says Grandmother, I Want to Hear Your Story. So even though right now at 14 and 11, they may not really be interested to sit down and hear, I want to leave something behind, besides these videos, of course, that they can refer to and get this knowledge when it can be of value. That doesn't mean they have to sit down and absorb it. It means that if they have a thought or a question that they wish they had asked, maybe I will have already answered it. And that's what I'd like to do. The hard part of aging is very often, for me, I look back on things and I reminisce. Now, sometimes it's interesting when people think, well, that's yesterday. Why do you bother? But I like to look back to see if I can figure out why I did what I did, what decisions I made, and what was the reasons behind them. What was the intention? Because sometimes mistakes that we made in the past, we end up, because the intentions are still a part of us, we end up making those same mistakes in a different form. So knowing how you followed the journey that you were on can make a difference in choices you make today. And choices are being made. And if you don't make them, sometimes other people end up making them for you. Now, we all have times when we're feeling overwhelmed with the things from yesterday we can't change. That's a good thing. Because some of the things that we went through, we are today who we are because we went through those things. They help form us, even the mistakes. We have the choices today to look back in a positive way so that it isn't making us less of a person to say, I shouldn't have done this. That's not where to go. The point is that understanding the why and then saying, well, I'm not going to think through things a little more deeply now. We change as we age, and sometimes we change quickly. Certainly, the wrinkles you see were not always there. They have come very quickly in the last couple of years. These I always had. I had a little girl, she was 4 in our daycare, and she's standing in front of me, and I'm looking at her, and she's staring at me. And I said, Haley, what is it? And she said, you've got stripes. I had a laugh, and I said, yes, I do. I said, when you get older, you'll have stripes too. Now, I'm sure at 4 she doesn't remember that. So that's a memory I tucked away as being something to remind myself that the aging process and the things that they put on our face are not necessarily negative things. To have smile wrinkles or thought wrinkles, at least they're not always frown wrinkles. They're the ones that are kind of hard to stay there. And I hope that when you look in the mirror, you can say that in your aging faces. And if you're young, you have a great opportunity before that time to find out the things that you're going to ask and say, I wish I knew. Our connections to older people when they're gone, it's sad, and we miss them. So if they can leave behind something of themselves for you, it helps that connection that we have. You never lose the connection you carry with you from your parents and their parents and their parents. You know it, but they're there. And very often they show up in ways that are not always positive. They may be things that they wish they could have changed and didn't. And so this is still an opportunity to make the changes in your life that make you say that when you leave it, you leave it feeling I've accomplished what I needed to be a better person, to be kinder, more compassionate, and learn how to let go and accept that this is the way it is. And acceptance is very powerful. For me, acceptance daily means that when I take a breath, I breathe with gratitude that there is another breath. And I hope that this has given you a little bit of something that you say, I think I want to try that. And feel free to let me know if there's something that you would like to hear me talk about. I'm always open to suggestions. That's the only way I can do this. I can't do this alone, This is a give and take place, and I hope that you take advantage of that. Okay? And I will see you again soon. Definitely sooner than last time. Love you all. Bye bye.